Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. So today was a kind of wild day, right? Bitcoin kind of fizzled out a little bit as far as its pump. We also had the news that the BlackRock symbol, IBTC, was gone from the DTCC website. Then the website crashed. Then it's back up on the website. So we'll take a look at what's going on there. We also have some stories from Bitfarms. I believe we also have IREN and Soluna a little bit in there as well. But first, we'll get into Bitcoin here. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Please do your own research. I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. I did buy some more shares of CleanSpark today on the dip a little bit towards the afternoon. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Also hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I post a new video because YouTube sometimes doesn't provide that for you guys. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin here really quick. Bitcoin had a pretty good day today. It was up. It was up quite nicely. It hit a high of 35,157. We were up today at the close of it 2.52%. The miners had a really good day today. They definitely beat Bitcoin as far as percentage gains are concerned. Some miners had really good days or a really good day. Others had an average day, but overall they were all like up at one point, like 18, 20% up almost. So it was a good day, but Bitcoin right now is still up in the green, which is good. We're up approximately 1.18%. We're right now at 34,328, something like that. So we're still way above our resistance line here at 32,000, which is good. RSI on the daily is a little overheated right now. We may need to have that come down a little bit, have a little bit of a breather before we continue to rally here. But we are seeing a sign of a relief here a little bit, at least on the RSI on the 4 hour. That's come down to right now 79. Still a little bit overbought right now. On the 1 hour, if we look at it, that's definitely below the 70 mark here, which is good. We're obviously much higher than we were back in these spots here on the RSI and the price tag, but we're still up higher in price. So that's good there. So we'll have to see how things continue going forward. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of a pullback just to make it healthy, a rally, and then we'll see how it goes going forward. Like I said in yesterday's video, if we continue to have some good news happening here with the Bitcoin ETF, some other news from the other participants that are trying to get it, that they're seeding and we're seeing sticker symbols show up and things like that, that might be a good sign where it might propel Bitcoin going forward. Obviously, that's going to be great for the miners as well. Okay, but if we look at the miners here today, it looks like only one was possibly down today, and that was Annie here. Annie was down 4.26%. Argo was actually up 26% today. BitDigital was up 5%, over 5. BitDeer was over 5%. Bitfarms was up 7%. Cypher was up 17%. CleanSpark was up over 10% on the close. Cores was up 1.45%. It was up much higher than that during the day, but it definitely pulled back here if we look at that one as well. You can see how that one has pulled back during the hourly chart. Let's look at the daily chart here on it. And you can see that's pretty wild. Let's maybe get that. Let's see here. How do we... I don't want to see dividends. I wanted to actually see... Let's see here. Percent regular, logarithmic. Regular is fine. Okay. And let's see if we can zoom this out. Why is this showing up the way? It's kind of weird. Let's do logarithmic maybe. Nope, that doesn't help us any at all. Regular. Let's see. Let's do auto fit data to screen. There we go. Okay. So cores, you can see how it's gone up quite nicely here in the last couple of days, along with DigiHost having a pretty good day, up 16%, DMG up 5%, GreenEdge up 7%, Hive up almost 9%, Hut 8.5%, Iris up 9% plus, Marathon up over 11%, 11.5 actually. So they all started out in the morning really great out of the gate. Before trading even began, we had the pre-trading market, and miners were up huge in the beginning. Riot was up 10%, Soluna was up 6.93%, Stronghold was up 1.27%, definitely came back a little bit towards the end of the day. Wolf was up 4.17%, but a lot of these miners were up 3x, 4x, 5x of where Bitcoin actually ended up today, which was a good day for the miners nonetheless. Okay, so here's the kind of, I guess you could say silly or kind of strange day for Bitcoin itself and the BlackRock ETF news. So BlackRock's iShare Bitcoin ETF mysteriously disappears, then reappears on DTCC site. That's a mouthful there. And it was strange. People were commenting it on Twitter, and it was going, it disappeared, it came back, it disappeared, it came back. It's like we couldn't really follow it until everything kind of shook out, and we finally got some really good news here that it's back on there. So BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF listing staged a sudden reappearance on DTCC's website after disappearing for a few hours. I looked at it also. It's like at one point I saw it, at one point I didn't see it. It's like, what the heck's going on here? So the ticker for BlackRock Spot Bitcoin ETF Exchange Traded Fund IBTC has reappeared on the Depository Trust and Clearinghouse DTCC website after disappearing for a few hours. When the ticker quietly disappeared from the site a few hours later, Bitcoin's price slumped nearly 3%, indicating that much of the trading activity seems to be hinged on watching ETF-related developments, which is true. I mean, you saw the news come out, you saw Bitcoin starting to pump, everything else. Everything kind of hinges right now around the spot Bitcoin ETF. When is it going to happen? It could be within weeks, could be within months, but more than likely we are going to have like an 80% chance that it is going to happen. All right. And then you can see that it definitely has reappeared. Senior Bloomberg analyst Eric, I can't pronounce his last name. I'm just going to say Eric B, pointing out the drama around the IBTC listing seemed to be responsible for briefly crashing the DTCC website. You can see here that obviously a lot of people were checking on that website, trying to see what the heck's going on. They basically had what do they call it? It's not a flood. It's it's too many people visiting at one point is what it is. And then up on IBTC's real listing, one ex-Twitter user highlighted that the previous listing showed a Y under the create redeem column, while the new listing had an N, right? So that's kind of interesting what's going on there. So that was from Joe Light. One significant change in the DTC iShares Bitcoin Trust IBTC listing is, I see here, the original listing on the right had a Y under create redeem. This one has an N. What does this mean? So obviously retweeted this out to Eric B and Jay Sayef, and this is what they had to say. Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seiferat responded to the query saying he believes it indicates BlackRock is getting everything ready to launch if and when they get an SEC approval. The N just means it's open for create redeem because it's not live yet. This is what he had to say on that one. So that's basically what happened with it here. And we'll have to see what happens going forward. Bitcoin's still up, which is good. Miners had a good day, which is also good. And then it's just a matter of time now. So really, we need to be patient. We might see a little bit of pullback. And this might be one of those things where it's buy the rumor, sell the news event. So don't be surprised if we do get the news on BlackRock getting the spot Bitcoin ETF, that things might dump a little bit. But we might also see where if we get multiple listings being approved at the same time, that might be a change, right? Because we're not seeing or hearing about any of the other ones that are trying to get the spot Bitcoin ETF as well. So that might be a bullish signal there where we might actually go up because multiple listings are being approved. All right, so something to think about, something to contemplate going forward. If you're day trading, it's kind of how things may work out. I don't care about that. I'm in it for the long term, so I'm buying the dips as they happen and hodling until sometime in maybe a year, year and a half, 2 years down the road where I'll be probably selling my positions that I do have and some of the stocks that I do have. But we'll have to see, obviously, how things work out at that point. All right, so now to the news side of things as far as the miners. IREN Energy partners with, I guess it's called Weka, to optimize generative AI workloads. They're getting into AI as well. It seems like a lot of companies with, well, not a lot. Well, there's at least probably now, 5 or 6 miners that are getting into AI in the last year. And I think they're just jumping on the AI bandwagon, trying to get attention for that as well. And we saw this also with Bitcoin back in 2021 run, right? People were 2021, 2017 as well, where companies were changing their name to have something in blockchain associated with it because it was, the latest craze and things like that. I'm hoping this is not the case. AI is definitely interesting in the part that it does obviously do a lot and can do a lot for possibly humanity, but as long as it's good, right? If it turns evil, well, we might be in trouble after that. But here's what IREN Energy had to say. Key highlights: partnership with Weka to provide innovative storage and data management solutions for generative AI and performance-intensive workloads. This is true because whenever you're dealing with data, you need basically a little bit more controlled environment than you would normally have for Bitcoin mining. You need to have a certain temperature range that you want to keep the machines at because you have data on there. You're also got hard drives, RAM, everything else that has to go into basically a server configuration for those things to work properly, right? They don't really like to be hot. The Bitcoin basic miners, I mean, they can run hot for a reasonably long time, but eventually they do fail because of the workload. In this instance, you really want to keep those machines probably under 100 degrees Fahrenheit, if not lower. Usually I think the target is around 70 degrees or something like that, 70 to 80 degrees for the most part, right? When you're putting in 8 high-performance GPUs to 10 GPUs in a rack, they're going to generate a lot of heat. And you need to have, obviously, those components that are in the rest of that unit or the server. You need those components to be, as well, cooled properly. and you need it to be in humidity controlled environments. Usually you don't want it to be too humid and things like that, because that actually wears on the parts more than anything else. Okay, this enables optimized GPU stack storage performance within Iris's data centers, and then legacy data management and data architecture approaches can be key technical inhibitors to generative AI adoption at scale for many enterprises, which is true, right? You need to have those controlled environments for those. Weka's software-defined hybrid cloud-based data architecture is expected to provide a high-performance solution for GPU optimization within the company's data centers that is simple, scalable, sustainable, and secure, right? You need to have all those things working together, where you have not only the calculations based from the GPUs for the AI, you need to have also data sets that are stored in either SQL databases, Bigtable, whatever they're going to be using on those to store all that data. And you need that all to function properly. And then you need that all to communicate with the other servers too, that we can work on all the data and then figure out applications from that as well. That's why I've used before the stack from Amazon AWS. I mean, they offer not only compute, they offer storage, data centers, things like that. You can make it as big as you want. You have obviously a lot of companies that are using it. NFL, you got the Netflix on there. You got other service providers that are using a lot of information based on the back end of Amazon's systems. So that's really what you want if you're going to build something that's going to be big, right? Okay. Let's see here. Let's go back to it here. What else do they have to say? Not much else. You guys can read the rest of it. So I think this is good that they're partnering with somebody that knows how to do this. This will kind of give them a little bit more credit, hopefully, going forward. And there is a lot involved in this. It's not like plugging in an ASIC miner where you just plug it in and you're good to go. You have some software management that just manages the miners. If it's time to shut down, they shut down because of electricity prices, whatever it might be. But you need something more. It's definitely more involved than, like I said, plugging in ASIC miners. So they definitely need somebody to help them out with that. And I think this might be a good way to do that. All right, next, Bitfarms. This is going to be quick and easy. Bitfarms to report third quarter 2023 financial results on Tuesday, November 7th. So we're starting to get into the season again for Q3 results on all these miners, and that will be happening after probably October. It'll be probably happening through all of October, maybe into a little bit of November as well. Hopefully, all the miners will provide their reports at least by the end of November, I guess you'd say. Yeah, November into December. Sorry, I meant to say that because we're already in October. We're going into November, and hopefully we'll get everybody by then, so that way we can do the metrics on all the miners for Q3 numbers, compare them to each other, see which ones have done the best, balance sheets, all that stuff will be coming in as well. But it looks like right now Bitfarms is the first one to report. We'll see if anybody else chimes in on this in the coming days and next week possibly. All right. And then finally, Soluna. As you guys know, Soluna is in my doghouse because they stopped providing their monthly production updates for us. So that way we had really no way of tracking them to see how they're doing. They're also been beaten down pretty hard here. If we look at Soluna here, they're down to, where is it, Soluna? $3.24. They also did, I believe, a reverse split here, which they did a reverse split 1 for 25, right? So they could get above the $1 threshold that they needed to be. So they definitely, if you divide it by 25, well, they're basically a penny stock right now. And their market cap here is right now at, wow, that's really low, 4.62 million. So that's pretty bad. They used to be, if you look over here on the price about last year around this time in October, they were at a market cap of 27 million. So definitely better than where they are right now. So definitely a tough one there, but I know some of you guys are still probably interested in that one. So we'll just kind of go over some of the details that they provided in this release. So Soluna achieves record low power costs, paving the way for AI computing at Project Dorothy. Here's another one, obviously, that's getting into the AI space as well. So we got Soluna, Iris, Hive, Hut 8. Who else is getting into it? There's somebody else, I believe, that was getting into it. Bit Digital is getting into it. So there's, 5-6 miners right now that are getting into it. We'll see how this is all going to play out. We'll hopefully get some numbers for all the details as far as when they start getting customers next year, hopefully. So we'll see how profitable those businesses are if they segregate those businesses from the Bitcoin mining themselves, okay? But we'll see. So here are the details announced. So Soluna announced today detailed company and site level updates, including its record low power costs being realized in October at its Project Dorothy 1 site, and its plans to include a high-performance computing and AI pilot as part of Project Dorothy 2. So if you guys have followed them, you know that the Dorothy 2 has been building out, I guess, and then plans to include AI. So site layout finalized for initial phase of second 15 megawatts of Project Dorothy. Equipment specification bids have been obtained. Financing is being finalized for its initial 16 megawatt phase to begin in the first half of 2024. So we still don't know exactly when that's going to happen. First half is basically within the next 9 months or so, I guess you could say. And will include a scalable pilot for high performance computing, which Soluna expects will be used to run AI workloads for future customers. All right, so they're just kind of dabbling into this, trying to get into it to see what it's going to do for them. AI data center design is underway. The company has been working with new strategic partners to design and upgrade its existing data centers designed to more specifically address the needs of generative AI training workloads, codenamed internally as Helix. Right? They're another one that's working with somebody that can help them basically define the space for it to meet the requirements of that space for computing, data centers, things like that. Data sets, all of that has to be addressed as well. It's not just putting the miners into an open box, having fans going. There's a lot more involved in that as well. Power costs hits record lows. Project Dorothy has been experiencing record low power costs in October of less than, I guess this would translate over to it'd be like 2.6 cents per kilowatt hour. Without ancillary services, Project Sophie moving to more profitable customers. 60% of the site is being transitioned to new customers and more profitable. So it's actually pretty good news there. We know that they were having a hard time with some of the customers that they did have in there. They were, I don't want to say they were losing money. I think they might have been losing money. We're going back a year now. But I know it wasn't as profitable as they thought it was going to be. And I'll let you guys read the rest of it if you want. But that's kind of the interesting parts of it here, really, as far as how they've been doing here. And we'll have to see how they go about it going forward. I'd definitely like to see them provide production updates again for the monthly. We could possibly include them again if they start growing, but we'll have to see. Right now, I just don't have enough data for you guys to say one way or the other as it is. All right, so that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously, and we'll see how things go with Bitcoin. Like I said, this is going to be a long-term play still. Don't get too excited with these rallies that we do have. We might come down a little bit more. We'll go back up. So it's going to be this kind of cyclical thing, up and down, up and down, up and down. We're going to grind our way up to new all-time highs sometime in I'm guessing, end of 2024, possibly into 2025, where we reach new all-time highs. And we'll see where things go. Obviously, the future's looking bright, but it's going to be bumpy. All right? So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a great night.